Today's Dallas Cowboys Report is a look at all of the Cowboys free agents, 24 in total, several of which, about half actually, are starters or starting caliber guys. We're going to keep you covered on everything going on around Cowboys free agency this offseason. So, if you haven't already, join the #1 Cowboys YouTube channel out there right here at the Dallas Cowboys Report. As always, it is Tom Downey here for the Cowboys Report by Chat Sports. 24 names. We'll go through them all fairly quickly so you guys aren't here for a half hour in order of somewhat most important to least important with some positional flex in there as well. First up is Jayron Kearse. If you had told me last year, hey Tom, Jayron Kearse was arguably a top 5 defender on this team and not much of an argument there, I'd be like, oh, okay, you're crazy, dude. He hasn't done anything in the NFL. Well, Kearse and Dan Quinn were perfect together. Kearse as a tight end eraser, run stopper, and being solid in coverage was nothing short of a revelation for this organization. Now, for the first time ever, he's going to command real money in free agency. The Cowboys will try to keep him. It will be easier said than done since there will be a lot of interest in Kearse. I think keeping Dan Quinn helps the chances of retaining Kearse, though. Randy Gregory is a very intriguing name here. Much like Kearse and a lot of these guys on this list, he hasn't really gotten big money in the past. He's been suspended, missed time. He's almost as old as DeMarcus Lawrence. Gregory did miss time again this year due to injury. That is a big red flag for this team. But he also had 6 sacks, and that carries plenty of value in the end. So I don't know what Gregory's going to command. I do think he will approach the Cowboys with a, hey, I'm getting this offers in free agency. I'll sign for maybe a little bit less. I think that's what will end up happening because those two sides have worked well. So what is the most you would pay Randy Gregory? Of the guys on this list, the top guys, I think a team-friendly contract is doable for Randy Gregory. Let me know in the comments. Most you would pay Gregory per year. Dalton Schultz is next up here. Fresh off a nearly 80-catch, 800-yard, 8-touchdown season. Dalton Schultz is going to get the bag in free agency. I fully expect he's going to command $10 million per year. That's the Austin Hooper contract. And Schultz put up awesome numbers this year, and he's not nearly as bad of a blocker as some want to suggest out there, just has issues in space. The team like the Jets, for example, could throw money at him. I would love to keep Dalton Schultz. He was a fantastic find in round 4, part of really overall really good draft class that year for the Cowboys. But now you wonder, what do you end up doing with Schultz? Can you afford to retain? The answer is yes. Do you want to afford to? Since the Cowboys will self-impose limits on their cap spending, Schultz might be gone. What I am most intrigued by is what happens with Michael Gallup. It's unlikely the Cowboys keep Cooper and Gallup and Lamb, but the injury to Gallup, I think, will drive down his value. Plus the fact that, frankly, since 2019, his numbers have gone in the wrong direction each year. Now, 2020, we can blame the quarterback. 2021, we can obviously blame the injuries. But the injury this year, the calf and the knee, are all potential red flags. So I would love to keep all of these guys. I would be shocked if the Cowboys actually did so. You might be lucky if you keep 2 of them. 3 is maybe only if you don't retain Amari Cooper. Who of this group, though, is the most important free agents? Let me know. Type MG for Michael Gallup, RG for Randy Gregory, DS for Dalton Schultz, or JK for Jayron Kearse. This is the pinned comment on today's video. So if the ad break comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. Let's hit these receivers now, since there are a lot of them this year. After all, 4 of your top 6 guys are free agents. Cedric Wilson had himself a very nice campaign. Former 5th-round pick, was a good slot receiver for Dallas, some special teams value as well. He will command some interest. I doubt that both Gallup, Wilson, all 3 of Gallup, Wilson, and Cooper are back. Got to start to make some decisions. Noah Brown could be back on a similar deal this year. 1 year, next to no guaranteed money, fight for that last wide receiver roster spot. I know Dak likes him. He had drop issues years, but there's special teams value with both Noah Brown and Malik Turner. And Turner made some very nice plays happen after the catch. This is a guy who was once on the Seahawks roster. They waived him. Dallas picked him up. He flashed at points this year. Do you want to bank on him being wide receiver 3? No, not really. If he's your 5, you feel great. If he's your 4, maybe you're hoping Simi Fehoko ends up emerging. So those receivers, not all of them will be back, but I don't think Turner's going to be that expensive. Maybe a team shows interest, but maybe he just doesn't want to move. Moving is not fun after all. Today's show is helped out by our sportsbook partner, BetUS. You can get a 125% deposit bonus when you use promo code Cowboys125 at chatsports.com/bet. Bet on Super Bowl futures and the upcoming game. The Bengals are a 4-point underdog. We're going Bengals, right? Not the Rams, although maybe if you're just a local high school sports fan, you want local guy Matthew Stafford to win. Either way, bet on the Super Bowl at BetUS. Use promo code Cowboys125 at chatsports.com/bet to get yourself a 125% deposit on a minimum deposit is $100. Let's talk penalty boy, Connor Williams, coming off his worst game of the year. That is not the way you want to enter free agency. Frankly, I'd argue his worst game in almost 2 years. It's maybe that opening game against the Rams back in 2020. Overall, he is a starting caliber guard. But the penalties were an issue this year. Some of the mistakes he loses ugly. And do you want to pay a premium for that type of player? I actually don't want to do that, even though you guys know by now I've been more of a proponent of Connor Williams than many of you guys out there. In fact, I would bet, and we'll see if I'm right or not because I would have bet on Aldon Smith too, the Cowboys will get a comp pick for Connor Williams. That's not that bad of an outcome in the end, depending, of course, what else they do in free agency. So what do you think? Do you want to re-sign Connor Williams? If he's cheap, of course, the answer is no, but I kind of don't think he's going to be. So let me know in the comments. Why for yes or and for no? Let's talk about the linebackers now, both Keanu Neal and Leighton Vander Esch. First up is Neal. I was a bit disappointed by the play of Keanu Neal. He flashed in the preseason. Dan Quinn's guy honestly wasn't that great in coverage. I thought that Leighton Vander Esch, especially down the stretch, really outplayed Keanu Neal. LVE was great his first year, then regressed, then picked it back up down the stretch. I think both these guys are better as rotation linebackers, not necessarily guys you want playing 70, 60 snaps per game. But I thought unquestionably LVE was better, especially as the year went on, than Keanu Neal. So of these two, let's say hypothetically you can only re-sign one of them. Let's say around the Keanu Neal deal, 1 year, $4-ish million. Let me know in the comments. Type KN for Keanu Neal or LVE for Leighton Vander Esch. Over now to the safeties not named Malik Hooker. Remember, 3 of your top 4 guys are free agents. That's DeMonte Casey and Malik Hooker. Some of the numbers that led to Trayvon Diggs' stats being high in terms of the yards allowed were really DeMonte Casey's fault, where he just didn't get the ball. Like he was in position or missed it or got himself really out of position as well. Malik Hooker was the backup to begin the year. Took him some time up to speed, joined the team later in the process. As the year went on, he started to take over, though, for DeMonte Casey. And the snap counts here are basically cut in half. The numbers, though, are not quite cut in half. I was, frankly, more impressed with Malik Hooker, especially doing better in the box than I thought he might as the year went on. But again, Monte Casey is a Dan Quinn guy. I don't think either of these players will be that expensive, but I'm not sure you're going to bring back both of them just because they might want to get more money and or playing time elsewhere. So pick a safety if you can only pick one of them. Let's say along with Jayron Kearse like we all want. Type DK for DeMonte Casey, MH for Malik Hooker. Coming off his best year ever, perfect time hit free agency, Dorrance Armstrong. 5 sacks this year and unquestionably had what I would argue is a breakout season for Armstrong. Now the question is, what do you want to do with him? DeMarcus Lawrence, big-time contract. Randy Gregory's a free agent. You have Terrell Basham, Chauncey Golston. Do you want to pay Dorrance Armstrong defensive end 3 money when you've already got 2 guys I think can handle that role? He might be looking for a big payday for the first time ever. Might be someone you end up losing. Let's hit interior defensive line now. That is Brent Urban, the defensive tackle from Virginia. I like Brent Urban. I think he's a good run stopper. I would not be upset if he was retained by the Cowboys. He should be pretty cheap. By the way, Carlos Watkins played a lot better than I thought he was going to. I thought he was a roster bubble candidate. Played pretty well, the Cowboys overall this year. I mean, they nailed all of their free agents out acquisitions. They crushed it. Now you might lose somebody like Watkins if he gets more guaranteed money elsewhere. I still want a true run stopper, but I would not be mad if Watkins returned. Ty Nsekhe, I don't think he's back. He was okay as your swing tackle, which is all you can hope for, frankly, as your swing. But he's old. I would wonder if the Cowboys want to give Josh Ball more playing time, give a chance at left tackle. If he is back, I'm thinking vet minimum deal-ish, little to no guaranteed money. Of the Cowboys' 24 free agents, how many will they end up re-signing? 21 of them are true unrestricted free agents. Shoot your shot. Pick a number for me in the comments. Again, Maurice Kennedy, a free agent, didn't play that much flash in the preseason, but was the backup nickel and really the third-string nickel. I don't know if he's back. He and tight end Jeremy Sprinkle are candidates to return on one-year deals with next to no guaranteed money. Sprinkle, I think, would be in line for tight end 4 if Dalton Schultz ends up returning, so not a high-priority guy there. Corey Clement was a nice special teamer for Dallas this year. I wonder if the Cowboys will wait on re-signing someone like Clement and potentially draft somebody on day 3, given the uncertain futures beyond this year of guys like Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott. The punter, Brian Anger, you can bring him back. I will not be mad if the Cowboys do it as long as they're not paying him big money. He was a Pro Bowl punter this year. He was fantastic. As far as punters go, literally no complaints out of me. Although I don't want to spend big money at punter because I don't like investing in positions where ideally you never, ever have to use them. Yes, of course you will, but I would rather try to re-sign one of my backup receivers or defensive linemen if it was a $2 or $3 million difference. Keep it cheap and let's ride. You can fully guarantee it. You can do that when a punter had a great year. Jake McQuaid is next up. He is the long snapper, by the way. No bad snaps. We never said his name once this year. That means he did his job. Bring him back. He's John Fossil's guy. And finally, the other free agents. Luke Gifford is an RFA. That is a restricted free agent. So the Cowboys will assign a tender. They will most likely go with the original round tender. It is the cheapest of the group. If he signs somewhere else, the Cowboys can match or get the original round pick back. There was no draft pick, so you might gamble there, but he's a backup for you in the end. 2 exclusive rights free agents. These are guys that haven't played enough to qualify for true free agency and haven't spent enough time in the NFL overall. Their offers are sign this super cheap deal we're offering you for the cheapest contract in the NFL, or don't play football. They'll be back, both Bernard and Hyatt, as they fight again for a roster spot in 2022.